Hello, everybody. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe, where we gather to discuss pieces and parts of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. This morning's discussion is going to center around imagination. Napoleon Hill refers to it as the workshop of the mind. I want to take it one step further and see if we can't get our workshop working. If we can't begin to train ourselves in the synthetic imagination, which is taking what we already know and have been exposed to and have stored in our subconscious all these years, and possibly by taking it and exploring it with a simple exercise, by hearing other people's answers, responses, and reactions, and knowledge and experience, that we might not also be able to tap into the creative imagination. So what I'm going to pose to you is, let's begin with asking the question, what if? So how do we do this? One thing that I will do when I'm dreaming, daydreaming, looking at the clouds, when I'm sitting back and just listening, see, because this happens while I'm listening to somebody share what's happening with them, I will often begin in my own mind to say, well, what if they did this? I wonder what that would look like. And I can sit back and take a breath, and I'll have to excuse myself from the conversation or what I'm watching or what triggered the what if question so that I can ruminate on it a bit. What would that look like? So here's just an example. We have this platform called Blab. Offers an opportunity for 4 people to have live stream, real-time conversation, much like the coffee shop down the street. Then it allows for people in the comment section to add their pieces and parts, comments, what have you, to the conversation, but also allows for them to have their own conversations happening. And we in the live stream, real time, can ignore or bring in those comments to have an impact on what we're talking about. And when somebody leaves the live stream, as you can see here, there's an open seat. I'm extending the invitation now for anyone who wants to participate in the exercise of what if, to jump in the seat. And that's what happens. As a host, I'm the host of the table. I invite people to pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, join the conversation, that sort of thing. So here we have this platform that does this. Many of you are new to this platform. So you're wondering, well, what can I use this for? All right, so let's take my own example. How Morning Mindset began. What if I had a place that I could bring a whole group of people together to help me in my morning mindset routine? So one of the things that I do every morning, and I have for years, is devote a minimum of 30 minutes. Sometimes it'll go into a couple of hours, depending on how good the book is, but a minimum of 30 minutes to read a book, a nonfiction book, something that is related to making me better, meaning that I could, improve my heart, I could improve my head, I could improve my thinking, I could improve my business, might be a business process I look at, might be an autobiography or a biography of a successful person, inspiring, motivating, something like that. But to help me keep on track with what I need to do each day. Okay. So I explored different platforms. I'd gotten stuck in this, and I thought, well, what if I could have these people join me? Maybe that will get me unstuck. And I explored different platforms. And I went to free conference call. Nah, it didn't work. I had one-on-one video chat, almost like an accountability partner, every single morning on Facebook, because you can do video chat on Facebook. Well, she fizzled out. So I tried another one. She fizzled out. I tried another one. He fizzled out. Nobody was as committed as I was to, really, I need to get on track here, and I'm kind of floundering, and I want these other people around me to help. So how can I do this? And I tried Google Hangouts. That didn't work. And then Blab came along, and I was exploring Blab, and I'd already had in my mind that I wanted to do something to have a group of people to help me in my morning routine. And I saw that, well, there's a possibility here, but what does that look like? Well, what if I start a morning mindset program? Okay. Well, what does that look like? So when this first began back in August, this is what it looked like. Good day, Roy. We're exploring what if. If you want to come in on a what if exercise, go for it. Anybody here, you're welcome to jump in this seat. I'm simply going to finish out my what if exercise, where it ended up, and then we can go from there. So I explored Blab a bit, and then I said, well, what if I kept it to an hour and we just had open discussion? And that kind of fell flat in my own mind. Well, what if I selected a book that I like to read and just invited others who've read it to discuss it? I thought, well, my only issue with that is that it's going to go kind of crazy on, everybody's going to bring in all their other books and ideas and everything else. So I needed it more focused. What if I selected a book that most people are familiar with and I read from it, and that would guide the discussion? That's where I started, and it has grown into what it is today, which is the focus is Think and Grow Rich, based on community suggestions, recommendations, and their own what ifs that I have been welcoming because it still helps me and you guys are still showing up. It has now changed to topics from Think and Grow Rich. I don't read to you, but we pretty much stay on topic. And it's pretty cool. So that was my what if. Get that imagination going. Good morning, Roy. Welcome.
Good morning, Charlene, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I just woke up, and I know that when I look at my clock and it says anything around 5 a.m., because I'm in California and you're not, it's 8 o'clock for you when you start these in the morning. So I said, you know what? Let me see what she's talking about today. Imagination. What if? ...
That's it.
You had me at ... I love ... No, seriously, ellipsis point. Oh my goodness, I love that because, well, it triggers something in me, right? And so I just love what comes out of you, Charlene. So what if I met a person like Charlene Burke on Blab, right? That's the first thing I thought of, is like, okay, how can I relate this back to her? Because that's how my mind works. My mind did not used to think around people and relationships, but
right.
For the last 20 years, someone poured into me and it changed my life when I look at relationships, because I had the wrong focus. You know, focus, follow one course until successful. Greatest definition I ever heard for focus. A lot of people don't know how to focus, and they especially don't know how to focus on relationships. And so as this one friend of mine poured into me, I realized that relationships don't have to take a long time to build. Okay. And to make those connection points. All you have to do is be a little bit more, what's the word? Informed.
Receptive? Okay.
Informed of the questions to ask the other person. The typical, how are you? How's the weather? What are you doing here? You know, what do you do? People answer it, but those are boring questions for me. I could care less what you do, Charlene. That's not a big on you. It's like, I want to get to know you as a person first, because if I find out what you do, it's like, okay, so now what do I talk about? What's next after I find out what you do? And I don't care what you do, or I don't know what you do. And it's like, but I'm not interested either. You know, you're an underwater basket weaver, and I could care less. So,
Well, unless you have video,
oh yeah,
and
okay, all right.
let's
It's like,
pull this in and say, and what if you asked me to join you in the basket weaving? What would that look like?
ooh,
Right?
okay, okay. See, but I listen. I've been asked to go underwater before and scuba dive and stuff. That's not my thing. So yeah, I would bail out. And hi, Dave. Dave just said hey to me. So hey, Dave. See, this is what happens. You build these relationships. I informed my peeps that I'm here with you, Charlene, and
Thank you.
so I don't know if anyone is here because of my notification. And you know, we can do that now. So for those of you who don't know, even as you're up there, you don't even have to be in one of these seats. If you just go ahead and click /notify, or yeah, click it or type it, and your little banner will pop up, and you can notify all of your followers. And so you can do this every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, what have you. And I love that because now we get to gather. This is a gathering place for me. I've always been into internet watering holes, Charlene. I've been online for 20 years, and I love finding where people who are like me are hanging out. Charlene, you're like me, and you make this watering hole available to me and everybody like me every morning. So that's my what if to start with. I mean, I could keep going on, but my what if is basically, what if I started building relationships at the speed of sound? What would happen? What would my life look like? What would the other person's life look like? And that's my what if for right now. So back to you, Charlene.
Okay. So I'm going to put this out just in case this does record because it hadn't been recording. All right. I want to open this up more. Thank you for sharing that, Roy.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for allowing me.
That our imagination is the workshop. That's where we sit back and ask the what if questions of what it can look like. That's why I threw out at you, well, you know, if you got that invitation, what's wrong with sitting back and saying, well, what if they offered me the actual opportunity to join them in underwater basket weaving? What would that look like? Could it be in a submarine where I don't have to wear the snorkel and the wetsuit?
See, and I don't think like that. Right? I love that.
That's why the whole exercise here. This is the
I
whole
don't think
point.
Like that.
Well,
yes.
Just relax a minute. We're going to say if we can't exercise that mind a little bit. That's the point.
Thinking I got to get wet. I got to put on the tank. I got to put on the apparatus. And you're like,
okay.
Oh, I love that.
Let's go in another direction. And that's the exercise I want to invite people to join me in, because I truly believe that the imagination, if we look at it as the workshop of the mind, that the question of what if, which is one of my favorite questions in any endeavor I begin, it prepares you to try something different because it begins in the mind first, and it removes some of that unknown fear, right? Which I've always had. I don't just jump into anything. If I don't know enough information, it ain't gonna happen, trust me. But if I can be guided by somebody else or do it myself with these what if questions, I can prepare myself to look for more information, to absorb more information, to be receptive to the new ideas. And that's why I love it so much. So you've just been given an opportunity to learn more about underwater basket weaving. And you're uncertain because you go through the old, well, I've got to get the wetsuit and I'm going to have to snorkel and I don't like water and I'm not so great when it comes to being all pruny because after 5 minutes in water, I get all pruny. This is my mind, right?
Yes.
But what if it was in a mini submarine?
See, I never thought about that.
What if it was in an underwater hotel?
I love that.
Think about that. Now all of a sudden you have a knitting circle that's in an underwater hotel room and you're watching the fishies go by and not getting wet. Or you have an underwater basket weaving class.
So you have just allowed me, because you can't make me do anything. So a lot of people would have said, hey, Charlene, you just made me this and that. No. You didn't make me do anything. You gave me the ability to. You allowed me to think differently than I do. And what came up was the one line or two are better than one. I always like to say that, and it's right along with what Napoleon Hill teaches, that when two minds get together, a third intangible mind is created, because you
Exactly.
create a brain child, you create brain children. You're better with another person, and that's one of the things I found out later on in life, is that I don't like doing things by myself. And when I got on the internet, it was so easy to find other people who were just like me, who were on the same path, similar path, complementary path, that would walk with me, talk
Right.
with me for a while. Maybe we'd go together a mile, maybe we'd go together 20 days or 20 years. And
Mhm.
so some of my friends here have been years, and others are now in the days and hours mode. So I love that. And you allow me to think, right? So a lot of people say to me, Roy, I like the fact that you make me think, and I like what they say because I get what they
Mhm.
say. I'm very semantical, Charlene, if you haven't figured that out. I use my
I know
words
that.
very, very carefully because it's important, because
Words
the
matter.
words I use today will end me up someplace tomorrow. And I really do need to know where that will be.
Hence the what if. But see, you approached it, you just didn't ask the question. You approached the internet with the curiosity, enough curiosity that was backed by the what if or the maybe. Maybe I can find people to join me on my journey. And I'm just saying, add one more to it to say, what if I found people very different from me? What would that look like?
Oh,
That
yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
think
What would
quite
that
like me. What if I took somebody up on the offer for a private conversation?
look? Ooh, see, that's another thing here. So
What
I hope to
if?
touch.
See,
Go
do
ahead.
you
Go ahead. You
understand the
first.
exercise?
Oh,
So
I
that
love it.
this is something that's near. Can you tell? It's near and dear to my heart.
So I do what you
It's
do individually, though, and now you're allowing me to do it collectively. I've never done the what if collectively because I don't know why. I
well,
don't
you've
have an
never
answer why.
probably not been invited to.
This is
I
true, and I wasn't in
I
the mode to
right.
invite.
So, and I often seek it. I will have fun, imaginative sessions. So one of the things I love about 8 and 9 year old kids. Anybody younger can't seem to do it, and anybody older gets restricted by society and all. You sit with an 8 or 9 year old and just start the what if game. You see, the world is wide open. There are no limitations. There are none. Zippo. There is no impossible. Therefore, the imagination can take over. And that's the whole point. It doesn't have to end in something that's realistic. So, for instance, you're given an opportunity with unlimited funds to create a promotion for your business. What would you do? No restrictions, no rules, no regulations, no laws. What would you do?
Love that. Love that. I don't have an answer because I'm thinking about it, but
So
I
this
love
is it.
that. So
Well, this
here's what
is
I
an
want to.
example. This is
Go ahead.
literally, let me say
Yeah.
this. This is
Yeah.
literally a question that I pose to my Grow Your Business Mastermind members. It is one of the exercises we go through. Okay. And they'll get stumped, but the conversation will get started. And usually I'll start it because I know how to get things started. And I'll, this is what I want you to think about. You've already had some promotions. You've already done advertising. You've done some standard things that, in even today's world and new world of internet, there are still standards, the go-tos, right? I've already done that. Start with thinking about who have you seen lately in a commercial on television or heard on the radio that just got your attention and said, boy, that took some balls, right? And that's often a way to get things thinking through. Um,
I love that. I love
you
that.
know,
So here's a thought that came to my mind as we're speaking here, as we're sitting here, and as I'm watching people pour into the room. So I'm going to put it out there for someone. I know someone's being touched right now by our topic and conversation, and you want to jump in. Everything in you is saying jump in, but you're not, for
what
whatever
if you
reason.
did? I love
What
that.
if you did? This is
I
my
love that.
challenge to you because of my friend Charlene pouring into me right now. It's given me the chutzpah, the whatever insert word here, to say this to you all, and I've never said this before in this way to anybody. Now, I host a lot of blabs myself, and I like to coax people in, I should have said, and this is not one of the ways that I do it. So, Charlene, I want to tell you right now, right here, the words "what if ... will forever be linked to you, my dear. So if I ever read that again, see that again, Charlene Burke will pop up in my mind. Thank you for that.
This is how I developed, you're welcome. This is how I develop strategy for marketing plans. This is how I work with creative teams to get them going. And honestly, this is one of the exercises in one of my mastermind groups, the second level, Grow Your Business. And it's amazing what can come through of it. So here we've got William in response to that question about promotion. I'd rent a theater and show my commercials. All right, William, what if you expand on that a little bit? Because you want people to show up, right? Let's explore that. You want people to show up to the theater to watch those commercials. How are you going to do that? And that's how you can start outlining, it's not a viable idea. But what if you rented an outdoor drive-in theater that's been in a small town forever and beloved by 50-mile radius, and you help to create a movie or a program that showcases who you are, but it's pretty darn exciting and interesting stuff.
I love that.
I don't know. That's me. See, now you want to think about, this is what I want you to think about. If you're in a group of 5 to 6 other people, they're going to ping off of that. No, that's not going to work.
Absolutely.
What if you did this? What if you, all right. So
Absolutely.
That's why I'm posing it to you. Take it a little further.
I think there should be, this is just me speaking. And I don't tell people what to do. Have them do it and have them like it. That's not me. I just make suggestions. So I think this should become a regular feature of what you do each and every day. Just a little segment.
I'm so glad you said that. This is my mini market research to determine if a weekly what if show is worthwhile. And that is what I've been considering, is once a week. And hosting imagination, promote your business. What if? What if?
Well, here's what I think.
What if?
Yeah, I love it. But I also think that you should do it at the end of every one of your shows. You allow for maybe 5 minutes. That's good enough. 5 minutes, because here's what I would do. If I missed one of your shows, and I do often, but there's not been a real incentive for me to go back and listen to the replay, because I know, where do I join in at the beginning? Do I have that hour? Do I do it somewhere in the middle? What will I have missed? All of that weird stuff. But if I know the last 5 minutes or so is going to be a what if session, I'm tuning in every single day and doing that 5-10 minute thing at the end of your show, what if, just to get my brain exercising, right? We exercise our physical body. Why not our intangible body?
Okay, so the way I see, I'm going to take that, because you're asking me to do a what if.
Right? What if Charlene would do this every day for us, whether we can make it here live or not? Would we join in? I would join in, and I would listen to every last one of your shows, the 5 minutes, because I've got that in me to do that. If I know exactly what's going to be there, and a what if, what would that look like for me?
No, well, for this show, if we did it on this program.
Okay.
All right. If we did it on Morning Mindset Cafe, and we are talking about the principle of your chief aim, right? Your definite purpose. I'm already envisioning that at the end, that last 5 minutes, I would pose the question, what if you sat down right now and wrote out what you've been dreaming about? What would that look like? I don't know. Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe, it wasn't anything particular, but see,
because that's how I would do it. But I need other people to come back and explore that with me, because what if we do one on the principle of persistence? What if you took that one thing, and I'm going to pick on Matt out of Fort Worth, that $500,000 proposal, All right. So for me, a proposal is simply something that can be immediately turned into a contract because it's a summation of already things we've agreed on when I've spoken with you. All right. So take it from that context. This is where I'm coming from. What if you've sent that proposal twice and you followed up 3 times by telephone and email and still no response? What if you committed to making 3 contacts to that person every single day until you get the meeting? I don't know. That's where my mind would go.
See, and what I like about you is that you prime my pump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at doing the what if on my own. But if I have a person who can do what they do, because this is their gift, this is their talent, and not necessarily mine, but I can pick up those pieces and run with that, not necessarily for just myself, but maybe also for other people in the room. Because I'm sure that if you start this, so Charlene, what if you start this and after 30 days, you have a handful of core people who will help you jump in these seats and prime the pump with you for the others who need their pumps primed so that they can jump in and blank. So I love this exercise, and I love the fact that you are doing what I can't, or what I don't know how to yet.
This
Maybe
is how
I
I
can
work.
later on.
This is how I work. This is how I work with teams, how I work with people. And I just want to give a shout out to Matt. Thank you for letting me pick on you. I know you're committed and I know you're persistent and you're going to hang on till you get it. That's why I picked you, because you're proof that it can happen. And we need proof, right? Those of us that are on the edge, like Roy is saying, what's holding you back from jumping in? Hi, Dina. Nothing held her back.
Good morning.
Hi, Dina.
What's holding you back from jumping in and playing the what if game, right? Whatever that is, why are you doing that? Dina's jumping in and doing it. Roy is doing it. Expand the what if and realize there's somebody else that actually did that. He is doing that activity of persistence. He is physically doing it. Now I'm inspired because I can realize that, oh, well, if you put it that way, I can do it too. All right. Hi, Dina.
Hi, Charlene. You are an inspiration. Definitely been inspiring me. It's because of your daily blabs.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, giving me also the opportunity to share with everybody here. That it's like a push for me to, do something. I don't dare do something daily out of my fear of not being able to follow through. But I'm doing something. I started something. Hopefully, I'll keep that once a week. So, your topic is really my territory or my great interest or passion. So go ahead and do that. And definitely I will support you in this as well. The way you could do it, if you want to do it if you conclude the Napoleon Hill thing, of course, your show is a Morning Mindset Cafe, right? This is the brand here. And then you can do whatever you want after that. It doesn't have to be continuously on the same topic of Think and Grow Rich, right?
Okay.
So if you want to start picking up on something different, now the what if, you can do it in such a variety of ways. You can do it as a full session, as if something very specific is on the topic, or it could be part of something else, maybe at the beginning or at the end. And everybody shares their own thing. And what I would do, for instance, just thinking aloud, brainstorming, getting excited.
Right.
Because the fortune with Blab is you can see the comments, then you might not be doing it together. You might need somebody else to do it. You pick up all the what ifs of people and you just use it as in a form of creative visualization or affirmations or meditation or whatever name you want to call it. And maybe it would be like a powerful experience of it.
So one thing that was posed in the comment area, and William posed it, maybe do the Morning Mindset Cafe. This is expanding on Roy's recommendation of maybe doing it at the end. Have What If Wednesday. So it's a possibility that I could devote Wednesday of each week to Think and Grow Rich Imagination, Workshop of the Mind, What If.
What if a person can't wait till Wednesday and they would like to do it on Thursday? What if you still had 5 minutes at the end just to spark our brains?
Okay,
and,
now
prime my pump. Just what if? Because I'm saying, look, I would want this on a daily basis. I'm a daily kind of guy. If I have to wait a whole entire week and then
Roy
watch
is
a whole
exhibiting
entire hour,
persistence.
what
Come
if?
on, Roy, go to YouTube. There are so many stuff
Listen,
there.
Charlene is
Go
turning.
for your daily dose.
Roy is exhibiting persistence, and he's doing.
She is turning
He's
me
doing
into a
quite
monster. I am
right,
doing
so-
my what ifness.
I had already started actually. I had done the last couple of minutes of try to have solid takeaways. I don't know if I can do a what if because it requires interaction. You know, I mean, it's all well and good that it's coming from my brain, but I mean, look at Mia, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's not Maya, it's Mia. What if each of us did one thing right now, this moment, right now, no later, no tomorrow, now? The one
That would be
thing.
awesome. That would be awesome. Things would change for all of us. And what if we shared that one thing?
One item right.
And what if we took a seat, Mia, and shared that one thing? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I
Okay.
love this.
Right, because we are chatting. I mean, what are we doing? This one right thing we are doing. Actually, we are sharing positive vibes, positive knowledge, expertise. So I guess we are doing the one positive thing right now we can do. I mean, if this is an inspiration, and it's you now, right now, everybody, we have what 24 people is showing there, plus 2 online with the ones who can type. They can type here on the chat. What if? The only thing I suggest, if you allow me to say so, because it's part of my expertise, make sure you don't use any negative words. And not the thing. Don't put the things that you don't want. Don't put no's.
Okay.
Not what you don't
So
want,
an
but what you do
example would be,
want.
what if there were no wars? That is
No.
not.
What if
that is
no?
not what this exercise is about.
Exactly,
This exercise
because
is about
that's not realizable today.
what if the one thing that's been holding you back, that fear that you have had of talking with somebody, making a phone call, sending an email, what if you set that aside and did it anyway? What would that look like? That's
Exactly.
how simple it can begin.
It needs to be doable.
All
I
right.
actually
Your
had
what if, right?
What I would say, what I'm trying to say here, Charlene, is take down what you have just said. Okay, a little bit of coding here, if you don't mind. Take what you have just said and think what is the opposite positive way of putting it. What if I am so fearless that I can right now go and blah, 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 do this? Don't say, what if I don't have fears? Because what you're using the word fear,
right.
You're bringing back, that vibe. The universe.
Okay, so hold on.
Doesn't hear the no.
We've got
the universe
Dolores is
listens to the
addressing that.
words.
Sometimes we have a false belief that something is not doable. It depends on the situation. You see, here's the beauty of what if. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Some of us have to start at the what if we set aside the fear
The
and did it anyway. So think about
it's imagination. It's imagination.
It's
all right,
actually getting together, bringing the tools together in this little workshop of imagination and asking the what if, and set aside whatever beliefs you have. What if I were standing on Mars right now? Trust me, I can go
Okay,
there.
so I was just going to ask you that,
So-
Charlene. So, like William says, what if you could read minds? So that's not going to be possible. Standing on Mars, probably highly unlikely.
Oh,
Oh, people
that's
can
not
read
true.
minds. Of course, it's possible.
That's
What's
not
that?
true, Roy.
You can read my mind?
No,
Yes
I
or
can
no?
read
Just
your
yes or
mind,
no?
but it is
Wait, I'm a
possible for
black and
other
white
people
guy.
to
If you
read
can
minds.
read my mind, I
Hold on.
disagree.
Hold on. If I am fine-tuned into who I am, and I am associated with you, there's body language, there's facial expression, there's voice, there's words used,
Tone.
there's other things, there's tone, exactly, there's tone that can appear like I can read your mind.
Okay.
I
You
have
just
been
said the key
accused
words,
of
which
that.
I will agree.
I have been
It will-
accused of that. People looking at me saying, you've read my mind.
Right, but what they meant was,
How many
it
times
I don't
do you
care
appears
what
use
they
it?
meant. I don't care, Roy. You see, you're limiting it. This is exploration, imagination. We're not
Okay,
going to be
no,
doing
no,
anything
I'm
with
not.
this.
I'm not arguing point A. I'm saying point B. So here was my question,
Mhm.
which you will unpack for me now because you're already doing it. What if your what if is not doable? Period.
If it's not doable,
Period.
you move
Okay.
on to the next one.
See, I can understand if it's not doable today, but
Or
it might be doable next week,
That's
right?
right.
And
You
I
can
love
set it
exploring
aside.
what if then.
you can set it
Oh.
aside, but at least take it to the point where you can say, it doesn't appear like I'm not going to actually do that right now. So let's set that aside. The whole exercise is literally an exercise of the imagination to get you using your imagination to think differently. That's the whole point. It's like
All right.
I go to the gym and I start lifting weights and I go to pick up and bench press 150 pounds. Well, that ain't happening. I'm sitting here. Well, if I put 25 pounds on, I can, right? But in my mind now, I've just set aside that my goal is the 150 pounds. I know I can because I tried. So it's an exploration of the use of the imagination.
All right. So I'm going.
Charlene, Roy, and everybody else, we're not talking about what is realistically possible.
No.
Even if you want to see yourself flying like Superman, right? The main thing is the experience, not the possibility of it becoming a reality necessarily, is to make the self feel good. Right?
Well,
Make the self feel
let me see if
good.
I wrap my mind around what you just said. So, Dina, what you're saying is, say whatever what if, ... you, the individual, want, whether it's attainable or not, right? Is that a yes or no?
Correct. That
Okay.
there are no limits.
Yes, there is no.
So,
There's no limitation when
Okay.
you are using your imagination.
Okay,
There is no limitation.
I got a little follow-up. So, what will that do to person A versus person B? I'm person A. What you just put on the table, I will never do. I will never explore what if I can stand on the moon
That
tonight.
is not my problem.
No. But here's my
That's
point.
my choice.
Here's
That's my choice.
Here's my point. If I don't know what I don't know,
Yeah.
then I'm going to get with someone who does. This is my point. I'm person A. Person B will do exactly what you're saying because that's their personality, that's their bent, that's their trait. They don't know what they don't know, like me. That when I start to imagine what is not possible for me, it absolutely discombobulates me, and I'm worse off than I started. Okay, so I just want to
Okay.
know the rules of the game. Follow me,
There
Charlene?
are
You follow what
no
I'm
rules.
asking?
Yes.
Just be
So
positive.
in this
There's no
setting,
rule.
we can place rules of let's do the exercise of what if as it relates to, as I opened it up with, as it relates to promoting your business. And that way we're putting a little bit of restriction on it, but we're still exercising the imagination. We can do that.
So would this
It's still the
exercise
same
be for people individually as well as collectively? Because
Of course.
if Dina likes to say, yes, I'm thinking right now, what if I was on Mars and the moon tonight at 12:01 Eastern time?
Mhm.
What if?
She-
And
well,
I could
she-
not go there with her. I would need a bathroom break, a kitchen break, because I wouldn't want to hear any of this stuff, because that would go into a chamber in my head that would be absolutely not useful for me. See, I already know this about me, so I would bow out of that conversation, or I'd go, Nina, 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 Nina. No, I'm being dead serious. Do you follow what
I
I'm
get
saying?
it.
I'm
I
the
get it.
personality type that would
And you
not
have
need, this is
completely
garbage.
diverted the conversation so that we're not talking what ifs anymore.
But
So
see,
what
I
I
needed to
want to
make
pose
sure.
to you, what I want to pose to you is that if you don't want to participate in the what if that's happening at the moment, don't.
Right. And I
If
don't
you
know
do
that
want to
until I am
participate,
told the
jump
answer
in.
to the question of the what if game. So let's determine this. Would what if be a game? Would it be a sport? Would it be blank, Charlene? What would
It
that
is an
be?
exercise of the
An
imagination.
exercise. So
How
would it
many
be an
times do I
exercise?
have to say that? It's
Well,
not
you have to
about,
say it as many
here's
times as it takes for me to understand that is this an
the,
exercise that is possible or also not possible?
of
I
course
did
it
it
is.
with you, Roy.
It's both.
I
Go ahead,
re-
Brian. Welcome, Brian.
I recently did it with Roy. I actually messaged him on Skype. Now you're going to get everybody following you on Skype. And I said, "Hey, pour into me. I want blunt because I speak blunt." And I just went to him, and he pulled me into a hangout with another guy that I'd never met that I found out was in Colorado Springs, which was kind of cool because
Mhm.
nobody I talked to is from here. And they both poured into me some great advice. And the question I asked is, "What do you think about me?" And the value I got out of that is very much leading me to my future. I think that was what we're talking about on a personal level, of having not only Roy, who I've built a relationship with a little bit, but a complete stranger, and getting that first impression of who I am to somebody else. Because the only mirror we see will be the eyes, through the eyes of someone else. So I think that in and of itself is what we're kind of talking about
It can relate.
as far as the imagination goes of self. And I loved it. I got more value out of that than anybody. I've been to a psychologist. They haven't diagnosed me with anything, and I'm not going to allow them to. But just having him and this other gentleman just pour into me was really awesome.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So the
Sounds like
Thank
imagination.
you, Brian. Thank you for saying so. And so if I could just add like 10 seconds to that. So first, yes, thank you. And what Brian is saying is who I am. And Brian knew that. So Brian had already built a rapport with me, and he knew what he was asking. He knew he was going to get blunt. He knew that. He knew I wasn't going to sugarcoat anything that he asked. And so when he asked some questions, I realized that his questions were wrong. Now, when I say to people, your question to me is wrong, it's ill-formed. Here's what it should be. Ask this, and now I can answer it. And when I do that, that's it. That's the end of the relationship, and people run for the hills. But Brian didn't. Thank you, Brian.
Pretty awesome. Good stuff. All right. So those who have questions, put it in question format. Let's see. And we have Tammy saying, I cannot count how many times I've been in a store somewhere and spoke to or interacted with a person whom later my subconscious said, what if you brought up your business? Imagine in my head now. Imagine in my head how, yeah, you took it further, how that would happen. But that's it. Yesterday while shopping, my subconscious spoke and you did it. They may not be back with you, but you did it. Congratulations.
Woohoo! Absolutely.
And that's the point of the exercise. You know, you can walk away from something and ask, well, what if I had done this instead?
Yes.
That's the imagination at work, because we're not there to physically act it out, but we can act it out in our brain, right? That's the exercise, Roy, is, well, what if, let's make it concrete to business and a promotion idea. What if you had unlimited funds? what kind of promotion would you have for your business? Now I'm going to share with you what I had come up with. This was an exercise that I did as part of a mastermind group quite a few years ago. I came up with 2 of them, and actually one of them, both were presented to the group, because that's what we did. We presented the outrageous idea, right? And there were a couple, we all looked at each other and said, that's, we can't even talk about that. There is no what if question to it, because they really went so big that it really wasn't solid to explore, because we really did want some answers to come out of this exercise. And so we were guided to set that aside and let's tackle the ones that really sparked our interest. And mine was one of them. And what I had proposed was that I wanted to have a house like in the movie Up that was lifted up with helium balloons. And underneath was written on the foundation of the house, right? The underside of the house was a huge target. Search by Burke, we get you found. That's all that came to mind. And have it just float above the earth. And that could go international now, see? Because that's what I think. It could go across the ocean and people in boats would see it. And people in Europe would see it. And some would wonder what the heck that English was, but nobody cared. And all right. So that's the way it started. Then, with the help of other minds asking, well, you know what? What if we scaled it down instead of a full-size house? We had a little dollhouse. It's not going to take as many balloons, and it still will be able to be lifted. It's possible. Okay, so now what? What if we ended up have a dollhouse with the helium balloons to lift it above, and we turned it into an event where people brought their BB guns, and those who shot down and shot in the right place received free consultation, and the ones that hit the balloon that brought out, there was a hidden prize in one of the balloons, got the hidden prize, and we made it an event. And part of the event was the raffle tickets, and then entry fees and everything else, and portions of that would be donated to a nonprofit. That actually is a valuable promotional idea. But it started with, well, what if you had unlimited funds, and what would it look like to you? You know, and I started out with the big one, and other people started the what ifs and started refining. We had somebody else in there with another promotion that they put to use. He walked away and said, I never would have thought of that. So that's why I have those exercises in my own mastermind groups. So
Okay,
there, Roy, that is where you have the rules.
Yes. Okay.
But it's a beginning to exercising your imagination, because
So
honestly, you get to an age and a point where we forget how to. And there are those who really don't have the ability. I understand that. There are those that at 7, 8, 9 years old, I met them when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, didn't understand anything that wasn't literal. It has to be real. It has to be literal. I get that. And for those, this exercise isn't viable in terms of exercising the imagination.
So, 2 things, Charlene, really quick before I lose my thought. You just
Sure.
answered my question from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'll unpack
and
that.
I was trying to. Okay.
But what I also heard was this. You are saying that, and this is what I heard, whether anybody else heard this or not, or even if you said this or not, is immaterial. This is what I heard you say because of what you said. So for me, the extraction is, the aha is, most people are told what to think, and you just showed how to think.
Thank you. That's my goal in life.
Thank you. And you said that, but you didn't say that, but I heard that. So
yeah, but I can't tell you. I'm going to tell you how to think. This is one of the ways that I express my.
You can say that,
tell
but
people this is how you can change the way you think. Think for yourself.
Right. So what you did for me, and I'll unpack it for people who don't know me. So I know it's not possible for me to be on Mars and the moon tonight at 12:01 Eastern time. So Charlene would then say, well, what if, Roy, we didn't do that big thing that you just put there, or Fred Ethel or Lucy just put there, but what if we scale it down a little bit, and what if you were here and here?
Roy.
So I love that. I'm in. Okay, so enough said.
What if there's a restaurant called From Mars to the Moon?
See?
And you didn't know about it.
I'm in.
And you didn't know about it.
I am so in. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for pouring into me today. I can now walk away and be fully satisfied. What a meal. What a meal. This was a snack. I came in for a little,
wonderful.
From Charlene.
I'm loving it. My brain is pinging and I'm loving it. Thank you, Roy.
I love this too. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to jump out and give somebody else an opportunity to jump in.
Okay,
I may come back. Thanks a lot, Charlene.
Yes,
and Dina and Brian, thank you guys.
Hi, bye, Roy. Actually, what you just shared, this experience, this exercise, that could be a full session of, here on Blab.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Turning it
because
into
you put into a specific, if you put something very specific as a title, and then people can actually contribute on the whole. And another common exercise is that people create group imagery, that each person contributes something, and that keep on changing.
And I balk at
it's something that actionable.
I balk at that. Images are limiting to me. Isn't that funny? That's my response to that. I think I understand the value of maybe using images as jumping off points.
Well, I use image, see, whatever, because I'm more of a visual person. But it's very difficult to talk about visualization without image. And you say you are difficult in image, but let me just tell you, you are not, because what you have just described is totally imagery.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I'm not aware of it.
No, but if you were to put an image in front of me, I'm not sure. I really shouldn't have put that on there. I don't utilize that.
No, I'm not talking about physical image. I'm saying thought image. You create.
That's the imagination.
You create a group. I'm not physical image. I'm talking about.
Thank you. My apologies. I was almost thinking like vision board and everybody contributing to that, and I was.
No.
Okay.
Meaning,
Thank you.
Based on the story you have described, how you started from a physical house being lifted with a balloon, and then, as the discussion goes down, it's not a physical house; it's a doll house. So,
or as Brian said, use balsa wood.
Yeah, Charlene, it's funny because I now I feel understand you a little bit more. Has everybody seen
some things kind of make sense now?
Yeah. Has everybody seen The Matrix?
Oh, if I could plug in, that would be, and then I would unplug.
I see Charlene, correct me if I'm wrong, as the guy that's sitting in front of the computer looking at the code. He's sitting there watching the lines of code go down the screen, and he's sitting going, that's a blonde, that's a brunette, she doesn't see the picture, she sees the lines behind it. And I see the picture, I look at the blonde, I look at the blonde. I see this, she sees the code behind it. When she looks at you, she's trying to read the code.
Now that's interesting.
See, when we also have this guided visualization, you say see, feel, hear, or sense, because each one is different, right? Not everybody is visual. So something which it's very easy for me to see, other people have to think about it, other people have to feel it, other people have to sense it. There's people also with psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
There are different names now. It's like, give me the word. I forgot. There are specific words of psychics depending on what sense they're
Oh,
developed.
yeah, telekinesis and clairvoyancy and
yeah, clairvoyance, for instance, as you can see, or clairsentient is when you hear, right? So based on that, some of us have developed more of one of the five senses. So you need to see, you understand who you are and play more with that, because this is what's going to have more impact. And this is a very good thing to have in our communications as well. So if, let's say, Charlene is not a visual person, and I keep on telling her in a session or anything, if you want to see, no, I can't see, I want to hear, I want to feel, I want to sense, right? So it's good, whoever is a leader into any kind of these things, or in coaching in general, to be more aware of the other person, you know, what it is. So if you want to say, what if, and whatever, but then, and the person will feel, hear, sense.
Beautifully said. I use this technique again in Grow Your Business Mastermind groups that I facilitate. I use it with teams when we're trying to brainstorm how we're going to get to that end result. You know, I use it with small groups when they've come to me. Usually it's not individuals, but sometimes it is. Actually, I've used it with individuals over the years, handfuls, who've come to me to improve their life. They are coming from the depths and the lows, and they're tired and they're sick and tired, and it's time for them to grow up and get moving on with life and do something, right? So to get them thinking beyond the now. And then I'll do it for myself sometimes with 7, 8, 9-year-olds and just sit with them and start the what if game. That is really a game, right? That is where you will hear things out of these kids. See, it's perfectly acceptable that people are multicolored, as in we're calico people. Perfectly acceptable that, you know, we would all be bald walking around with our arms out our backs because it's more convenient. That's the kind of things that come out of these kids, you know, and just explore, just for fun, just to see. So every once in a while I do it for myself. I don't do it as a profession. And Dina is much more skilled in the art of coaching, and that is who she is. She is a coach. I am not. And it's because you are focused on the person and what that person needs. And in all honesty, as a consultant, I am focused on what I'm able to give you when you come to me. If I can figure out what it is you need after asking questions and determining, and I am a good fit, I'm just going to give you what you need. You know? And so that's the difference. And sometimes it includes a what if session. And I've had clients balk at it. So I back away and I go someplace else to do the what if. Because when I strategize, especially a marketing plan, I have to think about the what ifs. I've got the data in front of me that I've curated and accumulated, and I'm looking at, and the data says we should be going in this direction, and I come up with the what if it bombs. It's not necessarily a plan B, but it's a preparation. So that's the what if. It's you're preparing yourself to think differently, preparing yourself to do something begins with the what if question. So I'm going to close down the recording because the hour is up, and then I'll keep the room open because it doesn't feel like an hour has passed. And I think this is going to go down as one of my favorite morning mindset cafes for the invigorating conversation and discussion. So I want to thank everybody who's joined me in the live stream, Dina and Brian and Roy. Thank you so much. Those who have participated in the comment section, thank you. You've brought some good thoughts and ideas and some good answers to begin on your own journey of asking, what if? You know, what if? So those watching the replay, join us again. We'll be doing this again sometime. Not sure how it looks yet, but been asked by a few people now to do it, and I'll explore that. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose. to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.